Now, our next task asks us to configure the blocking of inheritance for a particular group policy object. And I think it's best if we kind of explore this by way of example. We have in our domain, as we've built it thus far, this company computers organizational unit right here. And so far, we've configured some VPN settings with one GPO. We've also configured that WSS client configuration through another. But let's assume, for example, that these VPN settings are appropriate for most of the computers in our environment, but we have another class of computers where they're special purpose machines, they're kiosk computers, for example, and the users on these machines should not really have any VPN settings that are configured. The machines will never be taken out from the local area network. So let's actually configure this environment in such a way to block the inheritance of this configure VPN settings GPO to those machines that are in this kiosk computers organizational unit. Now, one of the first things we have to do is to actually create the organizational unit that we need to put those computers into. Let's right-click here under Company Computers and create a new organizational unit. We'll call this Company Kiosk Computers. And then let's assume at this point that we've gone through the effort to add those kiosk computers here into this organizational unit. Let's now then configure this organizational unit to block the inheritance of any up-level GPOs. If I right-click here on Company Kiosk Computers, you'll see here that I can choose to block the inheritance, and that's essentially it. In fact, down here under PowerShell, I can show you just a couple of PowerShell commands you might want to use also in order to support doing this. If I clear the screen here, the PowerShell command set GP inheritance is one that can give you the control here in Windows PowerShell in order to accomplish the same task. So this is essentially the PowerShell way to block or unblock inheritance for a specified domain or organizational unit. And then the corresponding get GP inheritance command, get GP inheritance, here can be used to identify, well, where has inheritance been configured on a container here in Active Directory.